Today we're talking about Samantha Fulnecky, who was supposed to write an essay responding to an academic article about gender stereotypes in early adolescence. However, when you actually read her essay, she barely referenced the study in the article or engaged with that data. According to the rubric, she did not meet the basic requirements. She got a 0 and acted like a victim, crying religious persecution. The TA involved, who is transgender, right? I think they're also in the wrong because of the comments explaining the failing grade. That was not handled professionally, so we're gonna get into all of that. We even have many Christians speaking up about this and saying, listen, I'm a Christian as well, but this was a bad essay. You're this Catholic, right? That essay was horrific. So many grammatical errors, no citations. My professor would have given me a negative for writing like that. It was just dumb. Okay, so it had to be 650 words, demonstrating that you read the assigned article and includes a thoughtful reaction to the material presented in the article. Points will be deducted when papers are deficient in any of these areas. So does the paper show a clear tie-in to the assigned article? No! She hardly even cites the Bible, especially here, Oklahoma University, right? I don't think most people there would have a problem with you being a Christian. That is not the issue with this essay.
Samantha Fulnecky has since filed a discrimination complaint against Kurth.
Overall, reading articles such as this encouraged me to one day raise my children knowing that they have a heavenly Father who loves them and cherishes them deeply, and that having their identity firmly rooted in, okay, I'm already lost. No commas. Where are we? Who he is will give them the satisfaction and acceptance that the world can never provide for them. Okay. My prayer for the world, and specifically for American society and youth, is that they would not believe the lies being spread from Satan that make them believe they are better off as another gender than what God made them. I pray that they feel God's love and acceptance as who He originally created them to be. Society pushing the lie that there are multiple genders. Girl, do you know what multiple means? More than one. Male, female. How many is that? 2? Is math a sin? I don't think so, right? So technically, I'm really glad though that there are Christians speaking up about it and saying, no, this is just objectively a bad essay. Not taking sides. The TA has their own problems, you know, finding this offensive, finding that offensive. But this girl, this essay's bad. Should have just taken the L and moved on, all right? But I feel like perhaps it was all kind of planned, maybe. That's a theory, that she knew that this would get her on Fox News, which it did.
I'm saddened that they're offended by the truth of the gospel and the truth that I wrote about in my assignment, that offends them and upsets them. I just encourage those people that are dealing with something similar to push back against that kind of behavior.
Maybe not. Who knows? Excerpt from Samantha Fulnecky's essay.
People out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and
this was an additional professor. She said, Samantha, I am the other instructor for this course and have also taken the time to read your paper. I concur with Mel on the grade you received. The paper should not be considered as a completion of the assignment. You are being asked to support your ideas with empirical evidence and higher level reasoning. Professor says, I find it concerning that you state at the beginning of your paper that you do not think bullying, teasing, is a bad thing. In addition, your paper directly and harshly criticizes your peers and their opinions, which are just as valuable as yours. She goes on to say that biologically and psychologically, sex and gender is neither binary nor fixed, which is not true. It seems like almost everyone involved is just letting their emotions lead. Well, I believe this, so I'm just gonna ignore what the assignment is asking me to do. Again, you can go on and talk about the Bible, cite the Bible, girl, but everything else matters as well, right? The vocabulary you're using, the flow of the essay. This sounds like a 9th grader. Okay, I'll be generous, a 10th grader wrote it. You're a junior in university.
Like, take a minute to read this. I would not be able to tell that this is college level writing. At max, maybe middle school, definitely in the realm of elementary school, but I would never associate it with collegiate level writing.
And then the responses from the TA and the professor, I found it offensive. I found it offensive. Cry. You shouldn't be a professor. You shouldn't be a TA. If you cannot handle reading about or listening to other opinions, this is not for you, okay? And I have seen a lot of actually like woke professors who would gladly go out of their way and fail students who have a different opinion, even though they follow the directions. This is not one of those cases. This is the TA, Mel Kurth, she, they. Please note that I am not deducting points because you have certain beliefs, but instead I'm deducting point for you posting a reaction paper that does not answer the questions for this assignment. Contradicts itself, heavily uses personal ideology over empirical evidence in a scientific class, and is at times offensive. You had me until that.
I didn't think it would blow up this much. It's definitely more than what I expected. I expected, you know, some people to hear about it and help me with it, but it's more than I thought for sure. I think a lot of people are assuming that I meant that transgender people are demonic, and that's not what I meant at all. That's definitely not what I meant. And I didn't mean the demonic part in an offensive way. But it was more so, the sentence said something like society pushing the lie that there should be multiple genders is demonic. But it was more so, it wasn't like targeted at transgender people that they are demonic. Older sister, she told me that this situation, she was like, this is every political science major's dream, and this is just kind of happening to you as like a pre-med major, and it's not something that you ever like wished for or thought was gonna happen to you, and it just kind of like happened.
I was told to give my opinion on gender stereotypes and gender norms, so that's what I did. I didn't think that was me needing to be brave or have courage. I thought I was just sharing my opinion like I was asked to do, so that's what I did, and I talked about the Bible and what God says about gender norms and about how there are two genders and things like that.
But did she expect the TA to pick up this essay? You didn't follow the rubric at all. And for her to say, well, she loves God. 25 out of 25 points. That's like if I had a math test and instead of doing the work, I write, I love God. And then when I get a 0, I scream, religious persecution. Well, no.
I just did the assignment and turned it in. And I talked about the Bible in it. That is, I view all of my opinions in the world through the Bible. I gave my opinion, and not just my opinion, but that's like, the Bible says that God created male and female, and anything that's not from God or glorifying to God is glorifying to the enemy.
Was the rubric from the enemy? Is the rubric demonic?
The demonic thing is that I didn't mean for that to be offensive.
How did you mean it then? She just meant demonic in a good way.
So I think that's why people are kind of viewing that as offensive.
Would you have a problem having a transgender teacher?
I wouldn't, not if they're able to separate their kind of beliefs and things from grading, then I don't, really care who my professors are.
Oh, so like kind of what you could have done when doing this assignment. Or actually, you didn't even have to separate your beliefs from it. Cite it properly. Cite the Bible then.
She was supposed to be graded on whether there was an understanding of the article, whether it was a clear reaction, and whether the main ideas were organized in a coherent discussion. She got a 0 out of 25 points and filed a complaint against OU, claiming her religious freedom was violated. That instructor's been put on administrative leave.
Okay, so naturally many conservatives made her the new symbol of a Christian student being silenced by the so-called woke university faculty. But that's not what's happening here. This essay is incoherent. It's off topic. It's cool that you have those beliefs. Awesome. But it has nothing to do with this. And it's poorly written also. So both extremes kind of jumped into the culture war mode without checking the facts, without actually reading her essay, which is especially disappointing from the conservative side that constantly talks about facts over feelings. They didn't even bother to read the assignment or her work. They just saw trans TA, Christian student, and decided who the victim had to be. How is that any different from what the left tends to do, which is they look at things like race and they say, oh, you're definitely the victim in the situation. I don't even know what the situation is yet, but you're the victim, right? Because of your race. You're doing the same thing, but with religion, it's disturbing that so many people jump to conclusions. And with these two individuals, both of them have this victim mentality. This article is talking about how certain kids who strongly fit those gender stereotypes, they tend to be more socially accepted. The ones that don't tend to face more harassment. Her essay, though, it barely touches on that topic at all. She simply inserted her personal religious beliefs without analysis, without citations, without linking her idea back to the research. Even if you agree with her worldview, right? The work itself does not meet a college level standard. So you can use the Bible, but you need to cite it. And again, relate it back to the article, which I doubt she read. Also, the assignment had nothing to do with the trans topic. Again, though, the instructor, they responded with this emotional grading note saying that this was offensive, that was offensive, instead of just sticking to the academic reasons for the 0. OU placed the TA on administrative leave. Now, there is actual persecution of Christians around the world, so it's kind of disgusting to call this persecution.
I read that girl from Oklahoma. I read her essay. Dog, it's so bad. She has like no complex sentences. All of her sentences have like the same structure. There's like no thesis, there's no arguments, there's no supporting evidence, there's no citations. Not only did she have no evidence to back up the claim that she didn't make, at no point in reading her essay did I understand the point that she was trying to make other than God good. But she didn't even like cite specific sections of the Bible. If you're going to make an argumentative essay, make an argumentative essay.
That OU student Samantha Fulnecky's essay was trash, and I'm not afraid to say it. Screenshots of her essay right now, so if you want to read it, just pause the video and then continue the video once you're done reading it. Here is the screenshot of the rubric, so if you want to read it, just pause the video here. Lastly, here's a screenshot of the abstract of the article. Once again, it's a study. It has data points, it has research, it has multiple numbers in it. Samantha's essay had nothing related to the article in it.
This situation has no clear victim, no clear villain. You have a student who did not complete the assignment in a satisfactory way, but then played into a narrative that guaranteed sympathy from mostly conservatives. But then you have the TA who gave the correct grade, but responded in a way that also exposed their own ideological bias and gained sympathy from mostly liberals. So what you hear nowadays from the conservative side is that, oh, we only care about merit, basing grades on the quality of the work, not race, not religion, not sexuality, not gender, anything like that. So why is a poorly written essay being framed as an act of discrimination because the writer is a Christian? It's a essay. You could be a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist. Doesn't matter. This essay is still awful. Also, those who identify, especially as Christian conservatives here, right? It is important to call this kind of thing out, even if it's inconvenient. Another disappointing example is how few people are criticizing the recent White House post. Now, they have been doing this for a while, right? They're using pop star songs over videos of illegal immigrants being deported. When it comes to illegal immigration, yes, I believe in law and order. We all should. People should come here legally or be sent back, especially when they also commit additional crimes on top of entering illegally. We have seen cases of violent offenders, of predators. I don't care if silly songs are used over videos of those individuals being removed because they're disgusting, but that's not everyone that's being deported. And when you reach a point where many people are in denial about what is happening and no longer trust the administration to target only illegal immigrants, I don't think this is the best time to be posting these rage bait kind of memes, showing videos of families being torn apart, you know, these people being pushed to the ground with Sabrina Carpenter songs about sex positions playing in the background. I don't think that's gonna help anything. Sabrina then said, "This video is evil and disgusting. Do not ever involve me or my music to benefit your inhumane agenda." And to that point, unless she like removes the sound, anyone can use it. But then they said, here's a short and sweet message for Sabrina Carpenter. "We won't apologize for deporting dangerous criminal illegal murderers and from our country. Anyone who would defend these sick monsters must be stupid, or is it slow?" Also, these are all referencing some of her other songs. I find it so unprofessional, and I was first surprised with this when Trump posted that AI video about Gaza. If a random meme page posted that, okay, that makes sense, that's the internet. But this is the president of the United States. And then now we have the official White House page posting these kinds of videos with the illegal immigrants, right? As if it's a joke. It's actually not a joke for everyone who's been affected by this, including the cases where they have committed additional crimes. For example, when it comes to like Lake and Riley, for example, that's horrific. Should we be playing, "Have you tried this one?" in the back? I don't think it's a good look. It's very unprofessional. It's not gonna help Trump's approval rating, that's for sure. Not even with him calling conservatives bad and stupid for finding this in poor taste. That's not gonna fix it either. Just like he did when he dismissed the Epstein Files criticism. So to anyone who strongly identifies with one side and is still treating politics like a team sport, when situations like this essay controversy come up, take a breath and look at the facts. Case by case, right? Do not let your reaction be decided by whatever your side is supposed to think. You're allowed to form your own opinion. You're allowed to say something is wrong even if it comes from your own team. And you're allowed to push back when the narrative does not match the truth. And that's all for today's video, guys. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Just remember to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.